Okay. Hey, um, I'm gonna talk about the AP Studio Art class that I just completed this last week. Mr. Brown tells me that this is going to be shown to people already in the class, so I hope everyone in the class declares themselves, identifies themselves as an artist, because if not now, you will by the end of the class. AP Art Studio is a class that I had been preparing for a long time, honestly. I heard about it in ninth grade from Mr. Paulson, and I had been putting it in my mind the whole time. I read the paper that you guys get for the summer assignments, and I internalized that. So I've been thinking about my concentration for honestly like 2 years before I had taken the class. The requirements for the class are that you've taken Art 1 and 2. I recommend taking Mr. Brown's drawing class, though. That's like a rigorous drawing class that helped me learn how to draw and prepared me for the class. It's a year-long class. It is an AP class. There is an AP test, but it's just submitting your portfolio. It's a good class if you want to do art because it's very self-driven. You have to be disciplined in order to do everything on time. This year, I don't know if we had as much structure as he's had in the past, but if you rely on yourself for that structure, then that's not only going to help you in this class, but in other aspects of your life generally. But I'm not here to make an advice video. I'm here to talk about the class, I guess. Well, I don't know. Anyway. Um, for concentrations, which in college I'll just call a thesis project, you are telling your own story. I'd suggest looking inside yourself and using what you know. Honesty is the best thing that you can do because all you have is yourself to pull from. So for my concentration, I did a series of portraits of my role models along with myself. The example of it is like way. A lot of my portfolio is in the classroom right now, but hold on. This is a piece that I did in acrylic, and this is an example of a self-portrait with a role model. This is a rapper, Charlie Tuna, and he's part of a music group called Jurassic 5. I like him a lot. This I hadn't really done a whole lot of acrylic. This class, while it's good to go with what you know, also try to challenge yourself. You'll do that with the breath assignments, probably more so than with the concentrations. But I decided to take on something new, and while it isn't perfect, I do see that I did improve from other acrylic paintings I've done. And I mean, I don't know, maybe my next one will be better, but it's all about that. So my first half of concentration is like me in there, and then the second half are teachers I know. This is Mr. Polson. It looks a lot better in person than it does on the camera. But this is an example of what I do know. I am a watercolorist, I like to think, and a lot of my pieces were in watercolor. So that was one thing that I did. So play with your strengths. You're gonna learn a lot with this class because everybody has their own strengths. So like for example, me with the watercolor, I'm not the best acrylic painter. You might have a really good. Well, I don't doubt it, but it is rare to have someone like really good at acrylic painting. I guess this young because stuff's weird, man. But communication and the community of the AP art class is very valuable. I learned from others and I was able to teach others, and when you teach something you learn something again yourself just by hearing yourself say it. Means you're listening. Yeah. Another thing for the class is it seems like a whole year and like you have a lot of time, but like I said, if you aren't structuring yourself for yourself, then you can get behind. I had trouble with that. I felt like I was ahead sometimes and then behind on other times. I ended up finding a happy-ish middle ground, but I feel like the benefit of me having thought about my concentrations for a long time did give me a benefit instead of just trying to come up with something. In this class, I feel like it is valuable to learn the process of how to make an original piece of work than it is maybe making a quality piece of work. Something that might not be technically advanced or perfect isn't necessarily what you're looking for in this class. I feel like fleshing out your mind and your compositions is what you really should build upon and take away from this class. It is a class of self-discovery if you make it, and I'm sure everyone that signed up for the class is looking for that experience. I'm sure you're gonna have a good time. Like I said, have fun with it. I enjoyed it. Mr. Brown is a bit of a character. You might not like him sometimes, but he is there for you for advice. I'd also recommend going outside of Mr. Brown's advice. Mrs. P. Cool is very blunt and to the point, and Mr. Polson is very knowledgeable. Everyone has their strengths, like I said, but getting those different perspectives from different art experts is good for you as a person to hear what other people say, what other styles play with, and what you can do to better yourself. Another thing I'd like to say, just as like a general drawing advice, reference is key. If you feel like drawing from your head is what you're supposed to do in terms of like drawing realistically, that is not true. But you would learn that in the drawing class. I think that's all I have to say. I enjoyed the class. I'm glad I take it. I plan on majoring in fine art in college, and I definitely feel like this has prepared me for that. While it is an AP class, I did discover while I was at State that you cannot clap out of this class because a lot of art colleges want you to have the fundamentals taught by them, and it makes sense. And don't get in a because you don't want to draw circles and shapes or whatever. Fundamentals are fundamentals, and you can only build on them. And if you're repping, you're gonna get better. And this is really what that class is about. It's about exercising your artistic mind and abilities to grow yourself as an artist and as an individual. And I'm grateful to have the experience. And I hope you guys have a great experience too and make some killer art. And I'll be looking to see what y'all do. This is a very long video, and I hope Mr. Brown enjoys it. Thank you! It's 3:52, and I'm out.